Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Chapter 51, Killing Elite Beasts, Liu Chengqing's True Strength. Room Slaughterhouse. Without the slightest hesitation, Liu Chengqing decisively enveloped the entire battlefield in the special space of the slaughterhouse. For Lin Qianqin, Zhang Wanqing and the others, a silver level 25th level beast wanted to kill it. Somewhat reluctantly. There is a huge difference in grades and values. With the change of his thoughts, Sun Yumeng, who was resisting in front of him, disappeared in an instant. Direct space exchange. However, Sun Yumeng, who was originally panic-stricken, faced a life and death battle for the first time, and her mind was blank. Lose the ability to think. The inexplicable space transformation made Sun Yumeng a little dazed, unable to figure out the current situation. But seeing that Liu, who is a medical practitioner by profession, was about to face this silver-ranked elite beast, he suddenly thumped. Student Liu. The giant white-eyed giant wolf was only 10 meters away from Liu Chengqing at this time, and its speed did not slow down at all. Blink of an eye. He was able to fall directly on Liu Chengqing, but even so, he still didn't take out the demon sword gouche. Baton. Only. Liu Chengqing's finger movements were subtle, and the originally plain ground suddenly had spikes formed by rocks and mud. Stabbed towards the belly of the strange beast. Caught off guard. The steel-like body of the extremely fast white-eyed giant wolf was not pierced directly, but was affected by the collision. Fly directly into the air. Almost to die. Liu Chengqing murmured softly, and decisively unsheathed the demon sword gouche on his back, using the ability of Room Slaughterhouse. Disappeared in place in an instant. The figure reappeared, and it had exchanged places with the strange rock, appearing in front of the white-eyed giant wolf out of thin air. Holding the demon sword gouche in both hands, he slashed towards the belly of the strange beast with all his strength, accompanied by the bright light of the sword. Slash. This elite white-eyed giant wolf was cut off at the waist, and its huge body hit the ground heavily. As for Liu Chengqing, who was falling in midair, he fell to the ground smoothly on the premise that his agility value was full. With the closure of the slaughterhouse, the slash of Yao Dao Gouche completely took effect on this silver-ranked elite beast, accompanied by blood flowing out. Total death. Experience plus 2350. Current grade. 21, 6.4, 120,000. Team points plus 121. That's dead. Sun Yumeng's face was full of disbelief at this time. She knew Liu Chengqing mainly because of the official video. There are no battle scenes. Instead, they block the entrance of the copy of the college entrance examination, plotting loudly with Lin Qianqin and the others, not knowing the specific strength. At first, she was worried that Liu Chengqing, who had no attack skills. When facing this white-eyed giant wolf alone, Shen Yun, who is responsible for the safety of the team, will be needed to protect him. But the ending was somewhat unexpected. She had just imagined the scene where she was directly knocked into the air by the giant wolf, and then inexplicably appeared beside Lin Qianqin and Zhang Wanqing. And when forming the team, Sun Yumeng seemed to have heard that Liu Chengqing said that he was a medical doctor by profession, and he was weak in the early stage. Master C wants to see them. Thinking of this, Sun Yumeng twitched the corner of her mouth slightly. Her face was strange. What the hell do you care about this kind of fighting ability? Called early fatigue. On the other hand, Lin Qianqin and Zhang Wanqing were not particularly surprised by the battle scene. On the contrary, they were somewhat accustomed to it. After all, before the school reported, Liu Chengqing took the 5 silver-ranked hunters seriously, and this scene is still vivid in my memory. It's just a level 25 elite beast with beast instincts. It's definitely not a match for this guy. Damn it. Responsible for the team's safety, Shen Yun, who was about to make a move just now, couldn't hold back and burst out with a national essence. I was dumbfounded just looking at it. This is outrageous. It can't be said that he was paddling for fish. He watched the battle closely from the rear, and the initial development was quite normal. Liu Chengqing was holding a gray book, as if he was going to provide treatment to his teammates, but was called by the white-eyed giant wolf. At a critical juncture, Liu Chengqing didn't know what method he used to transfer Sun Yumeng, who was standing in front of him, to the space. Then, the rock thorns that appeared out of nowhere directly knocked this elite beast into the air, and Liu Chengqing directly slammed it. Shen Yun, who came back to his senses, swallowed sharply, and could still feel the dryness in his throat. This FC King. Isn't it a bit too fierce? Medic Shen Yun, who witnessed Lu Chengqing's operation, had a rather strange look in his eyes. A dog wouldn't believe that there is such a strong medical doctor. Even myself. If you really want to fight Lu Chengqing, it seems that the weird ability to master space may not even have room to fight back. And Shen Yun can basically be sure that this is definitely not Lu Chengqing's real strength, it is too casual. Student Lu, you are amazing. With lingering fears in her heart, Sun Yumeng opened her eyes wide and looked at the handsome figure ahead. Her beautiful eyes revealed other meanings. Like, did he hug a thigh? You can do it too. Lu Chengqing nodded slightly, and hunted and killed the elite beasts. Regardless of experience, there are quite a lot of key points. If you can clear the Dusk Frontier dungeon and upgrade it to level 2, it should be pretty much the same. He chose to set his sights on Sun Yumeng. There was a little surprise in his eyes. Aside from the issue of strength, this guy is still good. Facing the culling of silver-level elite alien beasts, he was obviously terrified to death, but he was still able to stand in front of him. Lu Chengqing immediately said, "During the battle with the alien beast, just keep yourself safe, don't worry about mine." Sun Yumeng nodded seriously, knowing that she was telling herself that the action just now was really risky. If it wasn't for Student Lu, maybe something will happen to me. She said seriously, "I will never hold back the team, mainly because I didn't expect that this strange beast's skills are so powerful. After being hit, I felt that my physical strength was losing crazily, and even my speed dropped a lot, and I couldn't react at all." Lu Chengqing's face remained the same, and he didn't talk to him, but continued to move towards the depths of the Dusk Border dungeon. Can't tell this guy. In fact, the Wither skill was prepared for the white-eyed giant wolf by himself, and then he was criticized by this idiot. Blocked. Beating up the tool people of the team, this kind of thing is not fun to do, and you are counting on Sun Yumeng to be a wage earner. Chapter 52. After Lu Chengqing sheathed the demon sword Ghost, he did not continue to stay where he was, and moved forward decisively. The rest of the team quickly followed suit. Only Shen Yun had a strange expression on his face. He felt nauseous because of a groin. It's not like he hasn't brushed the dungeon of Dusk Frontier. Some have faced the giant white-eyed wolf alone. As for the skills that Sun Yumeng said, they don't exist at all. Mental deterrence comes from the psychological level. And Shen Yun saw Lu Chengqing holding the grey book and preparing to sing. The only possibility. It was Sun Yumeng who was suddenly blocked by the skill that Lu Chengqing was going to show this elite beast. Cut it off. As Lu Chengqing and others continued to go deeper, they encountered strange beasts one after another, but they were all ordinary beasts of more than 20 levels. The strength and attributes are all okay. With the strength of Zhang Wanqing and Lin Qianqin, it is not difficult to hunt down these ordinary silver-ranked beasts. Because it is a team strategy dungeon, the experience is shared, so Lu Chengqing is very happy to relax. Only when encountering elite beasts. When the other 3 people joined forces and couldn't solve it, Lu Chengqing would take action and behead the elite beast. In contrast, Shen Yun, in the name of team security, except for the details of science popularization, after entering the instance, he was disconnected all the way. With the passage of dungeon strategy time, the environment at the sky screen is gradually changing. As if burning like a flame, the cloud of blood covering the sky directly covered half of the sky, creating an indescribably oppressive feeling. Overall harvest. It's pretty good, except for the time spent on the road to find the alien beasts. During these 11 hours, the hunted alien beasts. The total directly broke 100. Among them, elite beasts only accounted for 20%, and most of them were ordinary beasts. In terms of experience alone, Lin Qianqin and others. The strength has all broken through to the silver level, and the team's total points are over 7,600. It is not impossible to break through 10,000. It's almost level 23. After Lu Chengqing killed the elite beast neatly, he was a little surprised to see his final harvest. The reason for the team. The efficiency of hunting strange beasts is very fast, and the more common silver-level dungeons can't hunt that many at all. It is estimated that the boss will come out immediately. Instead, it was the Dusk Frontier dungeon of the school, which gave him a surprise. He found the dungeon boss and killed him. It is estimated that it can be directly upgraded to level 25. Name: Lu Chengqing. Occupation: physician. Level: silver level 22, 7.1, 150,000. Strength: 362 plus 130. Agility: 387 plus 255 plus 20%. Spirit: 348 plus 80. Stamina: 420 plus 180. Equipment: redstone pendant, redstone bracers, first generation ghost, boots of lightness. Professional talent: physical recovery. Auxiliary skills: life recovery, medical identification. Attack skills: none. Exclusive skills: room slaughterhouse, room baton, room scan, scalpel. After equipping the boots of lightness, the improvement in agility is significant, the kind with very high basic attributes. Plus an extra 20%. Agility is about to break 800. After a little calculation, Lu Chengqing came up with an approximate number. This kind of agility value is even for the assassin profession. Not even half of him. The improvement in agility is not only at the speed level, but also in terms of responsiveness, which is also very significant. Lin Qianqin, Zhang Wanqing, and the others even took advantage of the gap in repairs after they were promoted to the silver rank. Use the skill book to learn skills, and the strength has been significantly improved. What's next? Zhang Wanqing set her sights on Lu Chengqing. The difficulty of the dungeon increased, and there was still 1 hour left. After her strength has been raised to the silver level, even if she faces a high-level ordinary beast alone, she is sure to kill it. Only, the dungeon boss can only provide help at most. If you want to kill it, you have to look at Lu Chengqing. Go to boss, Lu Chengqing said decisively, and immediately set his sights on Shen Yun, although there was nothing that needed him in the battle. But it's better than. This guy has cleared this dungeon, so he should know the news about the dungeon boss, so he won't look for it everywhere. When Shen Yun met Lu Chengqing's eyes, he had a nice smile on his face, and he was still thinking about how to let Lu Chengqing transfer the target from these strange beasts to the dungeon boss, no matter how many points he gets. Want to get out of here. He still had to kill the dungeon boss, otherwise he knew exactly what the consequences would be when the time ran out. Shen Yun said hastily, "The refreshment of Dusk Frontier dungeons all have a fixed location, so go ahead. There is a city wall there to resist the beast tide. The boss was refreshed there last time I challenged it. Let's go." Lu Chengqing nodded slightly, with a little expectation in his eyes, analyzing from the current situation the dungeon difficulty of this Twilight Frontier. Compared with the quicksand field that was single-brushed last time, it is obviously much improved. It is estimated that the level of the dungeon boss, it is possible to reach level 30. Relying on his own strength, it is not too difficult to find Sun Yumeng to add a buff and kill him directly. On the contrary, in Shen Yun's words, the city wall against the beast tide successfully attracted Lu Chengqing's attention. Always feel, this silver level copy of the Dusk Frontier is not as easy as I imagined. Led by Shen Yun, Lu Chengqing, Lin Qianqin and others soon came to an open area with a short line of sight. There is a mottled city wall that seems to have stood here for thousands of years, appearing in everyone's sight. This wall, it was even almost the same color as the ground, as if it had been completely dyed red by the blood of countless strange beasts. Even watching from afar, Lu Chengqing could feel the chilling aura emanating from the ruined wall. On the other side of the city wall is the most tragic battlefield. Chapter 53. Lu Chengqing looked at the blood-stained mottled city wall, calmed down a little, and said decisively to everyone, "Go up and see." Okay. Naturally, Zhang Wanqing, Lin Qianqin and the others had no objections, and now the strategy for the dungeon has reached the final stage. Kill the boss. The rest of the students must have this idea. After all, the rewards for killing the dungeon boss are very rich. In addition to experience and points, it is also possible to obtain spoils such as equipment and skill books. As long as you are capable, you will want to try it. The inner side of the city wall. There is a stone ladder to the top, and following Lu Chengqing's footsteps, he quickly walked up the aisle of the towering city wall. And, on the aisle of the city wall, Lu Chengqing saw many students, probably in their early 20s. Standing on the city wall, they kept discussing. Among the more than 20 students, there are many familiar faces of Lu Changqing, whom he met in the Jiangnan Provincial College entrance examination. Certainly, many of Lu Changqing's credits for producing the 3 champions in the college entrance examination were contributed by these students. And on the other side, there are 5 or 6 senior students standing on the watchtower of the city wall, looking at the endless plain in the distance. His face was quite serious. There is 1 hour left in the Dusk Frontier dungeon. According to past practice, this time the dungeon boss. It should have appeared, but now, it was so quiet that no strange beasts even appeared, which they had never encountered before. The senior boy in the lead obviously had a higher status. Seeing that he didn't speak, everyone around him was silent. At last, there was still a girl who really couldn't bear the dignified atmosphere, so she took the initiative to say, "Yang Wei, the top scorer in the college entrance examination is here." Quote. After Yang Wei heard the words, he turned his eyes away from the bloody plain, and immediately glanced at Lu Changqing's team not far away. Nods slightly. It's not particularly surprising. He is naturally familiar with Lu Changqing, the person who changed the rules of the college entrance examination. Strength is certainly not simple. The prerequisite for such a show operation is to have absolute strength to support it. Right now, there are close to 30 freshmen. The strength on paper is still passable. After Yang Wei pondered for a moment, he said, "Let's wait and see, the dungeon boss should be refreshed soon. In the last 30 minutes, if Lu Changqing and the others can't solve it, we will kill the instance boss." The strength of Yang Wei, who is at the golden level and level 35, is still a hidden profession, an elementalist for his own strength. Still relatively confident. The only surprise. It is the birth of the dungeon boss, all of which are random beasts, and their strength is not yet controllable. Usually, the more beasts hunted, the stronger the dungeon boss. As for the freshman whose average strength was only bronze, Yang Wei didn't think that the difficulty of this dungeon would be very high. The other professionals around the watchtower also calmed down a lot after hearing Yang Wei's words. This time, they just ensured the safety of the freshman team so that they wouldn't die in the Dusk Border dungeon. If these freshmen hadn't killed the dungeon boss in the end, the consequences would have been completely different. Replica upgrades. The difficulty is directly full, so the dungeon boss must be born before the dungeon strategy countdown. Complete kill. There should be other freshmen coming later, and the difficulty of encircling and suppressing shouldn't be too great. I'm a little curious. How is Lu Changqing's strength? There should be something, but there are not many things. Being able to collect so many points has already proved its strength. I just don't know. What is the level of the refreshed instance boss? Probably around level 25. Many freshmen noticed the arrival of Lu Changqing and others. They were a little surprised and quickly changed the topic. Transferred to him. After all, the next thing to face is the silver level dungeon boss, whose strength is not at the same level as those of the beasts. Want to do the kill alone. The difficulty is extremely high. Lu Changqing can come to this main battlefield, which means that they have a success rate of successfully clearing the dungeon. Great improvement. Among them, there is a team discussing, and there is also a familiar figure of Lu Changqing, who is second in the standings. Zhao Chen. Someone asked. Student Zhao Chen, I remember that you also took the college entrance examination in Jiangnan province. Do you know Lu Changqing? Why don't you ask him? If all of us work together to defeat the boss, it should be much easier. Zhao Chen's face was dark. He did know Lu Changqing, but the problem was that he didn't know him at all. And, in the copy of the college entrance examination, he complained a few words, and then he was snatched by Lu Changqing, who was squatting outside the valley. It can be said to be impressive. But, taking into account the difficulty of the silver level dungeon and the threat after the time of the raid, comprehensively view the overall situation. Still have to go and ask. Student Lu. Zhao Chen had a rather strange expression on his face. He glanced at the configuration in Lu Changqing's team and directly stated his intention of coming. Next, the dungeon boss should be refreshed. I want to ask, how about we join forces? Silver level boss, the kind whose strength is still unclear. Lu Changqing glanced at Zhao Chen. Naturally he did not forget the big client who contributed 12,000 points to him back then. As for the so-called idea of joining forces, there is no direct answer. As long as it is not a gold rank boss, it is still an advantage to deal with it by yourself. Why? For no reason. I want to share experience, loot, etc. with other people, and not down the dungeon boss alone. It is estimated that the level can be improved a lot. Lu Chengqing didn't directly refuse, and said, there's no rush, we'll talk about it when the boss of the Dusk Frontier dungeon comes out. Okay. Zhao Chen wasn't particularly surprised, he could even guess what Lu Chengqing was thinking, and didn't stay any longer. How much is a little embarrassing. Only. Not long after Zhao Chen left, the dungeon boss did not appear as expected, but the boundless bloody plain instead. A black line appeared out of thin air. Running towards the city wall where Lu Chengqing and others were, the black line was getting bigger at a speed visible to the naked eye, accompanied by a slight vibration of the ground. Lu Chengqing frowned, looked at the dense black dots, and was quite puzzled in his heart. What the hell? I'm afraid it's not the beast tide, right? Chapter 54. Accompanied by the slight vibration of the ground, the black spot at the other end of the blood-colored plane became larger at a speed visible to the naked eye. Just as Lu Chengqing guessed, those tide-like black spots are composed of countless strange beasts. Beast tide. They rushed towards the direction of the city wall where they were, and just seeing the number gave a huge sense of suffocation. The tide of beasts is coming. Lu Chengqing frowned slightly. Judging from the rushing beasts, it is conservatively estimated that the number is in the range of 500. Even, and possibly more. Regardless of how many of these alien beasts are elite level, even if they are all ordinary alien beasts, such a terrifying number. Even Gold and Platinum Awakened would be desperate to see such a huge horde of beasts. After all, the difficulty of killing alien beasts alone and facing the siege of alien beasts is completely different. Quote. Zhang Wanqing's face was also solemn, and she cast her eyes on the many new students not far away, those old sophomores. The strength should be at the gold level. The maximum number of people is around 30, even if there are new students coming later, facing this huge number of beasts. If you're not mentally fit, probably didn't even have the thought of resisting, even Zhang Wanqing was a little nervous inside. Nowadays, I can only hope that the boss of the dungeon can be beheaded, and after clearing the dungeon, I can leave the twilight border. As the beast tide continued to approach, after being able to roughly see the appearance of the alien beast, those freshmen who had never seen such a battle before totally panicked. Their strength is only close to the silver level, and the average level is only at level 18 or 19, even if their strength is good. Facing the silver level alien beasts, they all need to work together to defeat them. This is still a 4 versus 1, or 5 versus 1 situation. And now, this terrifying amount of beasts descended, even if all the students in this dungeon were standing by the city wall. They all need to face 4 or 5 alien beasts alone. There are even some students with weaker psychological endurance, whose faces are ashamed at this time, as if they can see the end. Corpse. They were all crushed by this terrifying beast tide. This is really a hammer. I can't beat ordinary silver level alien beasts enough. Now the beast tide is coming. The key point is that there must be elite beasts in this beast tide. Only 5 people in our team can barely handle this thing. Aren't there seniors in the upper grades? At least they all have the strength of the golden rank. There should be a way. Quote. As more and more students made pessimistic remarks, the already flustered atmosphere continued to develop towards despair. If there are only more than 100 strange beasts, and this is not the case, but the problem is that the scale of this beast tide is too large. There is no hope at all. Where is the instance boss? Lu Chengqing set his sights on Shen Yun, who didn't know much about the Dusk Frontier dungeon, so he asked decisively. After all, none of the silver level dungeons I challenged before encountered this kind of situation, which is somewhat rare. It is estimated that after this wave of beasts is over, the dungeon boss will appear, and it needs to be completely cleaned up. Shen Yun gritted his teeth and said. Originally, his face was a little relaxed, but he felt as uncomfortable as eating shit in an instant, and he didn't expect this situation. It happened today. In the past Dusk Secret Realm, the dungeon boss will be refreshed on the Scarlet Plane in the last hour. This beastly situation. It was also the first time Shen Yun encountered it. Even in a silver level dungeon, there were more than 500 of these strange beasts. Difficulty trying to clean it up. Slim. It can even be said to be completely impossible, unless those who participated in the Dusk Border Dungeon assessment are all second graders. The strength has reached the gold level. And only when there are enough people can they resist this wave of beasts, but now the average strength of other freshmen. There are only 18 bronze ranks. Shen Yun's face was quite desperate, and he asked, have you prepared the copy transfer scroll or something? No. Lu Chengqing shook his head lightly. The function of the dungeon transfer scroll allows the user to leave the current dungeon directly. It is a life-saving artifact. The price of this thing is also not cheap. The price of a silver-level dungeon teleportation scroll is about 5 million. Lu Chengqing, who is short of money, has never considered this thing at all. Only, facing such a huge horde of beasts, Lu Chengqing held Guxia's scabbard without the slightest timidity in his eyes. Not only the freshmen participating in the assessment, but also the sophomores present who were responsible for ensuring the safety of the team. His face was equally serious. It can be described as ugly. Even the total number of freshmen participating in this assessment is only 150. Facing ordinary strange beasts alone may not be able to kill them. The seniors in charge of leading the team, although their strengths are all gold level, there are only 30 of them. Even if every freshman can deal with one head, so what about the rest? Each of them needs to bear at least 10, and there may be elite beasts. Besides, now those who are waiting for the challenge copy on the city wall, including them, are only in their early 30s. Not that they are pessimistic. Faced with this level of beast tide, it is impossible to attack, unless those guys are also in the copy. Yang Wai's face was extremely solemn, and now he could only pray, and the rest of the people could sense the movement. Come to the city wall for support. As for the rest of the sophomores, their faces were somewhat pale, and someone even suggested directly. Or, use the dungeon transfer scroll to leave, there's no need to confess yourself here for points, right? A beast horde of this scale is not something we can resist. After hearing these words, Yang Wai looked at this person with an extremely ugly face, and said indifferently, where are the others? You expect new students to have a copy of the teleportation scroll. Sensing Yang Wai's gaze, the boy just shrugged his neck, but didn't give up the idea. Just sensed something is wrong. He was just leaving alone, there was no need to explain himself here for points. Hold on, after the others come, there is still hope. After Yang Wai took a deep breath, he didn't continue to bring up the topic, and subconsciously turned his gaze to Lu Chengqing who was not far away. If it was him, will there be a way? But, the moment Yang Wai had this idea, he was dispelled by himself, and he was considered to be at the silver level. Facing this level of beast tide. Chapter 55. As the huge beast horde continued to approach, even the towering city walls could faintly feel the tremor of the earth. The faces of many freshmen who witnessed this terrifying scene were extremely pale, and even the hands holding weapons and equipment were extremely pale. All trembling. But their fear will not stop the beast hordes from rushing, and even weaken the resistance produced by hardships. Even if these are ordinary strange beasts, there are at least 500 huge beasts here, Can you really resist? And in the bloody forest behind the city wall, students and old students rushed to the scene to support them one after another. Even so, today, there are only more than 70 new students who can stand on the city wall, plus 16 old students of the golden rank. Most of the beast hordes are still elite beasts. The strength of these elite monsters is several times higher than that of ordinary beasts. It can be said that the difficulty is directly increased. Hell difficulty. The only good news is that there are no students who have left the Twilight Frontier using the dungeon teleportation scroll. Yang Wai on the observatory turned his eyes to the many students at this time, with an extremely solemn expression, and said seriously, everyone. The number of beasts this time is huge. I have a general understanding of your strength. You only need to deal with ordinary beasts. Leave the elite beasts to us. Surrounding the city wall, there is a natural location advantage. There should still be hope for clearing the Dusk Frontier dungeon. Many students on the city wall had originally pale faces, but Yang Wai's encouragement stabilized the morale of the army a little. But there was still an air of despair. The quantity gap is too big, and there are elite beasts, even the dungeon boss has not been seen yet. Yang Wai's furrowed brows never eased, and he didn't choose to hide it, and said directly, as much as possible. Guarantee your own safety, and leave the rest to us. Lu Chengqing glanced at Yang Wei on the watchtower, his face slightly surprised. What he didn't expect was this critical moment. There is actually a sophomore who can have this kind of responsibility, and he doesn't think about running away at such an emergency. He immediately turned his gaze to the wave of beasts, his eyes flickering. There was no timidity at all. On the contrary, it was roughly estimated that there were at least 500 strange beasts. Grade is currently unknown. Even if all of them are common-level alien beasts, if they are all killed, they can guarantee a minimum of 600,000 experience points. Upgrade 3 to 4 levels. There is no difficulty at all, and, for a beast horde of this scale, the level of the boss behind it may also be very high. There are also many rewards, right? After the experience of those 2 silver-level dungeons, Lu Chengqing has a strong say in the matter of the Siege of Fierce Beasts. Quote. Zhang Wanqing was not particularly flustered. She had 4 teleportation scrolls in her hand, the worst result. Just run away. Only. When she cast her eyes on Lu Chengqing and saw his indifferent appearance, she always had an indescribable feeling. But Zhang Wanqing didn't think about the most daring direction. Her eyes were filled with anticipation. Silver-level strength. What kind of improvement will there be? It's enough to protect your own safety as much as possible. I'm afraid that the battle situation is too anxious and I can't take care of you. After Lu Chengqing made up his mind, he glanced at Lin Qianchen, Zhang Wanqing and the others and then simply reminded them. And at this moment, Zhao Chen's familiar face led the rest of the team towards Lu Chengqing and the others. Student Lu. Zhao Chen was weeping. Facing a beast horde of this scale, the only way he could think of was Lu Chengqing. After all, he has personally experienced Lu Chengqing's strength. In the battle in the college entrance examination, he was completely crushed. Over the past few days, presumably Lu Chengqing's strength has improved a lot. As for resisting the beast tide, Zhao Chen has given up hope. Just thinking, just live as long as possible. Zhao Chen looked a little embarrassed, and asked cautiously, this wave of beasts, can our 2 teams join forces? Otherwise, I really feel that the hope of living is very slim. Quote. Lu Chengqing didn't answer directly, but turned his attention to Zhao Chen's team. The configuration is pretty good. There is a front row tank, 2 auxiliary occupations, the main output is Zhao Chen, and the other is a girl. Our team will never hold you back. There are paladins and holy priests in the team. Zhao Chen quickly explained. It can superimpose a lot of buffs and improve strength, as long as you can survive. Quote. Compared to the flustered and clueless Zhao Chen, Lu Chengqing is still calm and calm. He said directly, the price. Quote. Zhao Chen gritted his teeth and said seriously, as long as you can survive the beast horde, we have a total of 3,300 points, and we will give you 50%. Can? Lu Chengqing looked at Zhao Chen, who was quite upright, with a bright smile on his face. This deal can be said to be a good deal. Although the team points are small, the victory is not divided equally, it is that each member can get the amount of 3,300, a total of 50%. It is estimated that there are about 8 or 9,000. And the key point is that Zhao Chen's entrustment does not conflict with Lu Chengqing's ideas, and it is not a special trip to protect them. In itself, his idea is to solve the beast tide. While gaining experience and points, you can also make extra money. No one would refuse this incidental transaction. Buffs can be stacked. Lu Chengqing glanced at the beast horde, which was only about 1 kilometer away, and said to Sun Yumeng and the other 2 assistants. Okay, classmate Lu. Sun Yumeng nodded seriously. If she were in other people's team, she probably wouldn't be so calm. But, now in Lu Chengqing's team, having witnessed her strength with her own eyes, she has a kind of inexplicable confidence. Accompanied by the light of the green staff, Sun Yumeng decisively released the professional skill, Wild Gallop, on Lu Chengqing. The other 2 support professionals also used their skills to superimpose the buff on him. Wild Gallop gain buff. Increase the target unit's agility and stamina by 30%, duration, 30 points. Guardian of the Holy Light gain buff. 25% increase in defense enhancement and stamina for the target unit, duration, 30 points. Blessing of Honor gain buff. Increase the target unit's strength and endurance by 30%, duration, 30 points. Is this the feeling of all the nanny in the team? Lu Chengqing's terrifying four-dimensional data can clearly feel the significant improvement of various attributes after the buff is stacked. Just relying on the strength of the physical body, it can reach the terrifying level of 7,000 Jin. As for the stamina that breaks through the 4 mark immediately, even if you use the fruit's special skills continuously, the consumption is estimated to be extremely low. Quote. Lu Chengqing took out the demon sword Onitsu from behind. The texture of the bright red blade was in the light of dusk. It's getting weirder. Without the slightest hesitation, he decisively activated the equipment skill demon prison blood break, and immediately covered it with a layer of thin blood. With the appearance of the white vortex in the palm of the left hand, the special space of room slaughterhouse will soon have a radius of 220 meters. Directly shrouded. Before leaving, Lu Chengqing cast his eyes on Lin Qianchen, reminded him with a smile, remember what I just said. And also, just waiting for the copy to clear. Please like and subscribe.